Do you want to start a thriving real estate career, but don't know where and how to start? Do you want to become a successful realtor or investor, but lack the required knowledge and skills? Gear yourself up with the best and actionable advice here on the Real Estate Rundown. Tune in as Shannon Robnett talks with industry veterans about all kinds of asset classes, market trends, challenges, management techniques, and success stories. Listen to informative discussions with valuable tips that will serve as the foundation for your incredible real estate venture. Now, here's your host, Shannon Robnett.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. You are not going to believe who my next guest is, guys. I have got Kirk the Bank Barnes coming on my show, right? Coming straight to you from New York. But the reality is this guy is so real. This guy is so raw. This is his first podcast, right? But he's going to be on our podcast. And what he's going to tell us, he's going to tell us how he is killing it in real estate, how he is winning because of positive mindset, about plugging into the right people, about how you can do those same things using your own assets, your own resources, your own internal gumption, but also plugging in with people using a funky little app called Clubhouse. So you're going to want to stay tuned to this episode of the Real Estate Rundown because my guest, Kirk Barnes, is going to blow your brains out with all the information he's going to give you. So tune in. Hey, guys, welcome back to the Real Estate Rundown. I have the huge honor of having my friend, a guy that I've never met, but I can definitely call him my friend, Kirk the Bank Barnes, on the show. Kirk, how are you, man?
Hey, Shannon, thank you, man. I really appreciate you bringing me here. Listen,
hey, man, the pleasure is all mine. Listen, I'm so excited about this episode, man, because I don't get so pumped up like I am today, and it's not the coffee, right? It's about the journey. And one of the things that I know about you, man, is I know a small tidbit of your journey and what's gotten you involved in real estate and where you're at. So I just want you to take a minute, introduce Kirk Barnes to my listeners and let us know where you come from, where your goals are, where you're headed. Just give us an insight on who Kirk is.
All right. So Kirk, I'm originally from Jamaica. I wasn't born here. I came here as I was about 11 years old when I came to America. And, from there, you follow what you see in your community. It wasn't right, but I've done certain things that, it just didn't get me anywhere. Getting older now and being in my 30s now after coming out of jail. And honestly, Shannon, that's how it started for me. After coming out of jail, man, let me back that up a little bit. So I wasn't a believer in God, right? And, I did some things and, after getting locked up that night, man, I saw everything. I said, man, God, please, don't let me do any time, if you let me out of this one,
right, right.
I'll come on your side. Just do me this one favor. Hold me whole. Anyway, I went in there. I did about a year. That was the first time I ever went to jail. I did a year, I came out, I read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And from then, it's been about 6 years now, almost 7 years. That book right there, man, transitioned my whole life. It made me realize that the things I was doing, and don't get me wrong, Shannon, I was always a six-figure earner. I always made over $100,000. I'm a plumber.
Right.
Understand? It's not just from the job, but my side jobs as well. And, into realizing you could build a company and you could take it from there and even go even further. That right there for me, the reading that book just changed my whole mindset. Totally awesome book. And, I bought a house maybe almost 3 years ago. I turned a 2 into a 4, Shannon. That's what I like to say.
All right. You subdivided.
Excellent at this space, man. Right now, like I said, I'm in my ADU. I'm in the basement. I ran out the 2 top floors. I'm in the Airbnb space now as well too. Just looking to maximize on the things I could do, man. But that's just me in a short, quick summary.
So let's beat that thing open. So, Kirk, you read the book, right? Robert Kiyosaki, and he talks about a lot of things. What was it that you got out of that book that you said, wow, this is what I'm not doing that I need to do? What was the main thing you took away from that?
The rich don't work for money.
And for those, I can't imagine that there's somebody listening to my podcast that hasn't read the book, but let's pretend there is. Okay. What do you mean the rich don't work for money? I mean, the Rolls Royce don't buy itself.
Right. So the summary for me was that, okay, the way how he summed it up is like, okay, we earn a lot of money. We don't make money. We don't work in a mint. Jim Rohn always say that. You don't make money. You earn money.
Right.
So now the money that you earn, what are you doing with that money at the onstart? Are you buying things? Are you paying your bills first, and then whatever's left over, you're going to now try to put somewhere or try to invest that money? No. Invest in you first. You take that 10% for yourself first. And also The Richest Man in Babylon. That was another
good book.
That was another book where, Shannon, that book there good too. You know what I mean? But sorry for the Jamaican accent. Sorry.
No, dude, I love it, man. I mean, listen. This is the great thing about America, right? I mean, look, it's the land of opportunity. You can come just as you are, right? And let's back up just a little bit and let's introduce people to how we met. Right? We met on this funky little app called Clubhouse, right? We've never actually met in person. In fact, this is the first time I've actually even seen a video of you, right?
Right.
I mean, I see a picture of you, right? You see a picture of me.
And I look totally different in the picture. Like, I don't have a beard in the picture at all.
Oh, you don't, right? I'm still just as dashingly handsome. So we can leave that. Yeah, we can leave that. In fact, if I do like this, I'm taller in my video, right? Right. But, the reality is we met on this app and we get to know each other talking about real estate. And one of our main places to get together is in the Real Estate Coffee Cafe, right? Mm-hmm. Or the Real Estate Cafe, where we get together for 6 hours every day, Monday through Friday, and we talk real estate, right? And the reality is we've gotten to know that, where we've gotten to know that, look, man, I know your story. And you're working hard, right? And you're putting that stuff together. And when you start talking about paying yourself first, you start talking about the books you've read, the knowledge that you've acquired. What's changed over that versus being in Clubhouse? What's happening with your life now that you've gotten introduced to Clubhouse and some of the other things that are going on with that?
Oh, for one thing, Shannon, not for nothing. Like even like you said, meeting you in Clubhouse is awesome, because you know what it is? Like I said earlier, I was on the app earlier and I mentioned something about, being in the audience and just not feeling like you belong there. You feel scared. You feel, these guys are doing so much more than you're doing. And it makes you not want to come up there and ask a question. But for me, coming where I'm coming from, and it's like I have access to these guys here that not only guys, but gals as well too, that are really doing their thing, and they're here giving that information away. A person would have to be silly. I won't say stupid, but it is stupid to not tap in and actually try to at least try what's going on. For instance, before I got on this app, I never knew, I heard about Airbnb, never tried it. Right?
Right.
Renting out 2 floors, for me, in my mind, it's like, okay, you get a house, you get long-term tenants, they pay their rent, and you're golden. Shannon, my first month, I made almost 2.5 times my rent that I normally charge.
And that is the power of Clubhouse, but it's the power of application. See, yes. You could have sat there, this is where you don't give yourself enough credit, because you could have sat there for 6 years and not applied what you were hearing, but you did apply it. That's the difference. 95% of people won't apply what they learned. They're going to read the book. They're going to put it down. They're going to meet the person. They're going to put it down. They're going to do these things, but they're never going to apply it. And that's the thing that you are doing that is next level, right? Where you're not giving yourself credit for being extraordinary. And I would agree with you. I wouldn't say it's stupid. I would call it ignorant, right? Because an ignorant person just doesn't know what they don't know. And after plugging into the Clubhouse app and being able to network with the people, I mean, there are some serious things going on and some serious networking going on and some things that are happening in my life that are changing my life, even at this level, on a personal level, right? Mm-hmm. Connecting with the people that we're connecting with. But let's talk about what your journey has been. So you got a two unit, you've converted it to a 4 unit, and you've now added short-term rental to that repertoire. What are you going to do next? What does your trajectory look like now?
So moving forward, so my thing is right, and it's so I'm learning so much from the app that I can take it any which way I want to take it at this point in time in my life because I'm learning so much and I'm earning more.
Right.
like Shannon, I'm telling you, like right now, the minute this ADU goes out on the market, I'm golden. I can literally not quite say leave my six-figure job as yet. If I get about 2 to 3 more units, definitely I can.
But how long does that take now? Right? I mean, from where that happens, that's like 2021 business, right?
No, this is where I'm getting to. This is what I'm getting to right now. So the strategies that's been opened up to me, and that's what I've been learning and thinking to apply. I can go down 2 routes. I had a concept with Sean Ackerman yesterday. Right.
Sean's going to be on the podcast as soon as our schedules mesh. You are the first from Clubhouse to be on my podcast, so I'm pumped about that. But Sean will be on here too.
So Sean, I had a conversation with Sean yesterday. The thing with Sean is I could definitely tap into Sean for free. Like they trust me enough to send me thousands of dollars. Like he said on the app, and they literally do. And they didn't even lie when they said they never asked me what happened to the money. Right. So I make sure that I have to be accountable for every little cent that goes out, and I make sure I write everything down. You understand? I tapped into Sean yesterday, and I paid Sean the money for his consultation. And again, Sean, I could have got this for free.
Right.
But to show somebody how much you value them, you're going to make sure, even though you're getting it for free and you can get it for free, also show that person your appreciation. I'm not just tapping into Sean. What he's doing now, I'm tapping into his network.
Right.
You understand? And your network is your net worth. Like I'm tapping into you today, Shannon. Who knows what can happen down the line? You're a builder. You for me are here. And again, I keep saying thank you to you, and you might downplay it, but Shannon, I really appreciate your love.
And I'm going to back it up for you just a bit too, because I need you to understand too. The first deals are the hardest deals, right? There comes a lot, and I remember my first deal. I remember my first deal after I lost everything, right? I remember my first deal after all my struggles, right? And I remember how important those are to me. That everything that happened there because of everything I learned that now make the steps very easy, right? Mm-hmm. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first steps. And this is why I'm so excited to have you on my show, because you're getting to tell everybody what those first steps are and the fact that you're winning, right? Because that's what everybody thinks. They think, oh, Sean Ackerman, he can do it because he's something special. And, let's not take it away from the guy. He is, right? Everybody says, well, Shannon, you can do it because you're special. I'm not, okay? And it's not that because I put my pants on the same way as everybody else, right? It's just that I know that the biggest deals and the biggest struggles that I had were the first deals, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you say that, Kurt, where you and I want to back up one more again, because there's so much that you're unpacking here. The importance of trust. The importance of applying the information, but we've all met on Clubhouse and we've gotten to know each other here. But when you say they're sending you thousands of dollars, I mean, what do you really mean by that? I mean, how would they tell me this? Why would Jonathan and Sean trust you to just cash app you thousands of dollars?
It all started for me getting on stage and asked us one question, man. And not only that, Shannon, what they showed me. And what I'm learning is that I show up. I show up to the game, and I'm there. So you being consistent, and it sounds so cliche, but it's really, really not. Like it really is the blueprint.
Yeah.
Continue to show up, continue to absorb. But again, you don't want to get into that analysis paralysis type of situation. But Sean and Jonathan actually, they were just the room, man, and they opened up the room, and Shannon, again, I tapped in, and they just said, like, literally, we need a bank. And they looked at me and they say, Sean said, in his mind, he probably was like, this guy is always here. Like, and I think it was also like a test, and I didn't let them down from a test. I'm consistent, but I'm also trustworthy because, Shannon, for me, to hold $1,000 for these guys and skip town and potentially miss out on millions.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
You understand? So for them trusting me like that, again, even today when I was on the app, they said, yeah, and they never asked me they never say to me, okay, so where did this money go? Or where did that money go? This guys have sent me made over $20,000 so far, and I have not met any one of these guys.
And the funny thing too, though, Kurt, coming from the other side, I think we're going to call this show Devil's Advocate. I think that's what we're going to call it, because I'm hearing it from your side, and I love that story, right? But I can tell you of all the times I've offered to mentor people, right? I get people ask me all the time, hey, can you mentor me? I say, sure. We have a conversation, we have a phone call, we put together, do these first action steps. As soon as you've got those done, here's the scheduling. Schedule another appointment. We'll go over that, and we'll talk the second step, and then we'll talk the third step, and we'll just walk through this. I don't charge for that, right? 95% of people never make another appointment, right? I can tell you, of the 100 plus that I've had this, I've got 2 guys that are still around. 2 guys that continue to show up, right? And so when you talk about the power of just showing up, you don't understand. That puts you in the top 5% of money earners out there, so that if you can get to the top 5%, then you can get anywhere, right? And how many people don't even make the top 5 by making the second meeting, right? And so this is why, Kirk, you don't understand. Just like you keep telling me, Shannon, you don't understand. Kirk, you don't understand. You're unusual, right? You're special. You're different. You're not only listening to the information, you're absorbing the information, you're applying the information. And that's the difference. How many books has Robert Kiyosaki written? How many books have actually been read? How many books have actually changed lives, right? The number keeps going down every single time, right? So when you ask, Jonathan, if Jonathan thought he had to ask where the money went, he wouldn't have never said it. You know that, right?
I know that for a fact, yeah.
So you've got your ADU. You got your 2 to a 4. You're making money like you've never made before. Did you think, Kurt, that a year ago you'd be thinking about quitting your job?
No.
But now you're gonna be in a position that you're gonna have that option. You're gonna have the option to go full-time into real estate and make that your career.
Right.
What's that feel like?
Yeah, you have no idea. So Shannon, I have 4 children. I never told anyone that on the app, but I have 4 children as well too.
Yeah.
The little baby, he's gonna be the one to, I had a vision, I had a dream that he's gonna be the one to take over. I'm gonna school him, and he's gonna school the older ones and whatever. I'm not only doing it for me, Shannon, but again, like I said, I make 6 figures. I was always been since I was 18 years old. I was earning high fives once I hit. So you can't die and leave your kid a job. And that's for me what I realized, getting up in age, and I'm 40 years old.
Come on, man! You make it sound like that's old. I'm older than that. Come on, man.
Nah, I understand, but Shannon, we have our fruitful years in front of us, man. It's not behind us. We learned back then, and we apply and we do what we gotta do. But yeah, for me, definitely thinking about just dying and not being able to. They said in the scriptures in the Bible that, a good person leaves money for the 3rd generation, not just the 1st or the 2nd, but the 3rd generation. And that's my ultimate goal, to have enough to where not just giving it away to them. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
They might not be able to get it till they're 50 years old, so right. It all depends, Shannon. So, but definitely my thing is just to build generational wealth and being able to leave them something that I just never had growing up. I'm an immigrant from Jamaica.
And too, Kirk, I mean, you came from hardworking parents, right?
Definitely.
So the difference is in the mindset shift of, back to what you said earlier in the show about the rich don't work for money, right? The rich aren't in there punching a clock and going, I got to get my 40 hours this week. In fact, I'm hoping Christmas is coming. I got to get some overtime. Let's see what we can get, right? Mama needs a new pair of shoes. So we're not trading time for money, right? And you've shifted that mindset, and now you're working just as hard. You're just working for Kirk, right? And I remember one of my mentors always used to tell me, I'd rather sell pencils on a corner for myself than work for somebody else. And what that really meant was about being in control of your time, right?
Right. Yes.
Because if you're in control of your time, you could sell pencils, you could sell newspapers, you could sell anything you could get your hands on, but you weren't trading your time directly and saying you're worth X, you're only worth X, and you'll never be worth more than X, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's awesome to see, Kurt, how you shifted that mindset to now be able to go, I can not only be successful as an entrepreneur, coming from a long line of workers, I can now be an entrepreneur, but I'm going to nail this so hard, my kids are going to know what Grandpa did, right? I mean, that determination, that's the part that I love about you, about your story, about what I know about you, man, is that you are not content, right? You're not content with the status quo, right? No. You're not content with the way you grew up. You're not content with the lifestyle you found yourself involved in. You're not content with where you sit today. And that comes through. That passion is there, right? It's just in a Jamaican accent, which makes it cooler, right? Because I understand that, and I hear that, and I get that, right? Where we know that your passion is there to pass that on to your next generation. So as you're looking forward and as you're saying, look, this is where I've come to in the last 3 years. Where are you going to take this in the next 3?
Shannon, 3 to 5 years, honestly. Yeah, I won't. The only reason I'll be on a job is because I want to be there.
That's right.
The only reason I love plumbing. I love what I do, Shannon. I could build from the only thing I don't do is go on the street, but from the ground,
right,
ceiling to the roof, I have that down pack. I've been doing this for 23 years. I started when I was 18.
Right.
I've been doing this for so long. It's 22 years. But again, like I said earlier, I cannot leave my kid a job. So for me now, moving forward, the things I'm learning from, even the things that I hear from you as well as being a builder, it's inspirational. It's inspiring, Shannon. It makes us see. It makes for me. Let me put it for me. For me, it makes me see that there's more out there than what meets the eye or what like you said. You just don't know what you don't know, but then you learn it. Apply it.
Yeah.
You understand?
And that's the great thing too about the connections that we're making. And I love it when somebody can grab a hold of that and they can see that. I also love hearing the passion you have for the job you have, right? I mean, look, a workman is worthy of his hire, and being able to pass on a trade and a skill set is awesome, right? How many kids are getting that from their parents these days?
Nah.
Right? You ask the kids, what does your dad do? What does your mom do? They go to work. What do they do? I don't know. But to be able to pass along not only that particular skill, but the passion to work, right? I love what I do. My kids don't always understand it because I love what I do. And for me, it's always awesome to do that, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I'm doing that, I see how I pass that on. And I see my son he's 25 and my daughter who's 21 coming up into business, and they're seeing dad's passion and they're absorbing that passion and they're finding it in their own vein, right? They all have a little bit different vein that they're going down, but they're finding that passion to create, right? And that's what I see. That's what I see in you, man. You're taking that passion for what you do, and you're changing that a little bit to now doing it for yourself. And then out of that, you're going to change that so that your kids can go do it, right? Your kids are going to be able to take what you taught them and go do it, right? That's awesome, man. So in 3 to 5 years, I want to hear the goals. What are the goals? You got 4 doors now. Where do you see yourself in 3 years, Kurt?
So my ultimate goal is, and I write this down like it's in my bathroom. I stick it right on the wall, like they say, Again, you have to write certain things out. Sometimes my cousin comes in, he's like, why do you have all these papers just like everywhere? But now he's starting to realize, like, these papers really mean something. He's like, I just thought you just like write stuff down and just leave it all over the place. But he's starting to see the vision come together. And He even reminded me, and that's the thing too, Shannon, you have to have people around you that can also help to assist you with your vision.
Right.
You can't have people that's stuck in their mindset is not in a growth mentality.
Right.
You cannot have those people around you, because what's going to happen is, and I'm going to answer your question, but let me just say this first. If they're, and Tony Robbins said it as well too, he used to make so much money, but the people that he hung out with, he had to dumb himself back down to be on their level because they didn't accept him, because all of a sudden now he was the bragger.
Right.
But it's not your bragger. You want me to be where you're at.
Right. Right.
I was already there. It didn't do much for me. You understand?
Right. No, totally get it. I totally get it. And that's the thing. I mean, if you're looking around and you are the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. Yeah. You need to go find a room where and that's why I love Clubhouse. That's why I love being in there, man, because I'm learning new stuff every day. Right. And when you're learning and you're constantly being challenged, you're going to be more insightful. You're going to be more in tune. You're going to feel and see more things that you didn't know. Right. So, and I love the fact that you're writing this stuff down and you're putting it all over where you're seeing that, because, as we saw, Kurt, we were in a room this morning where Rogelio was helping a guy understand that the words that you speak are real.
Yes. Yeah.
The things that you say can lift you up. They can edify you. They can damage you. And you need to be aware of what you're saying. It was neat to see, because we all needed that reminder. See, I was able to learn vicariously through this other guy, Edwin, right? Edwin was getting taken to school, but he learned that the power of what we have in our heads, in our minds, in our mouths, right? So you wanted to ask me a question. What was it, man?
I done lost my train of thought over that.
Man, we're going down this happy trail because, it's great because that's what we're doing, right? We're seeing those things walked out, and we're seeing those things manifested because you're being very intentional. You're putting those notes everywhere. You're writing that stuff down. You know how many units you want to have. You know what kind of lifestyle and income you want to have, So
the goal is 40 units. Each unit at least generating at least 500. My goal is just $20,000 a month. As of right now, if I'm earning 20 grand.
I want to bring you back to the guy you were 2 years ago. You just said my goal it's just $20,000 a month. Did you hear you put that word "just" in there? Right. Let's talk about how your mindset's changed. Right. I mean, were you saying just $20,000 a month 2 years ago?
Definitely not.
Were you saying that 6 months ago?
Definitely not.
Okay. Now it's belief, it's action, it's being around the right people. Guys, listeners, if you are not picking this up, this is exactly why I had to have Kirk on my podcast. He is putting these steps together, small, little, intentional steps every single day. And now in a matter of 6 months, he's changed his thought process from I'm gonna show my kid how to be a plumber so he can have a profession, to just $20,000 a month, to generational wealth, to showing his children's children how to not have a job. You guys, this is why Kurt is so amazing, because he's putting these things into practice, and he's not looking to be getting rich quick overnight.
Wow.
He's been doing this for 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. He's changed his life, and every day the horizon gets wider. The path.
And Shannon, I'm giving myself another 3 years, 3 to 5 to retire, to stop. And when I say retire, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop working. It just means that I don't have to go out there and break my booty like I'm doing.
Right. And you know what? That's so amazing too. And Tony Robbins goes into that about how much it really takes if you've got cash flow, right? And that's the one thing you're looking for. You're looking for that thing that continues to repeat, right?
Yes.
It's not about having $10 million in the bank and living on the interest on the money, because as we all know, the bank's not going to pay you anything. It's about having assets that are going to pay you every month because somebody's living in them and taking care of them for you, right?
Yep.
That's awesome, Kurt. I think I can't wait to play this podcast back for you and let you sit yourself in the audience and listen to the gems you've been dropping on this thing, talking about what it is that has changed your life and how you are now no longer the person you were even 5 months ago, right?
Shannon, JOB is just over broke.
That's right. That's right. It's the rat race.
I bought that game so long ago, Shannon, and I've tried to play it with my children, and I have played it with them, and they kind of get the concept. But until people seeing you do what you say you're gonna do,
right?
That's the difference.
Right.
That different. You can talk about it all day long, but
That's
it's
right.
kind of you're not going to do it. It makes no sense. And doing the Airbnb, Shannon, the first month I'm covered my mortgage on one unit.
Right.
So now I still got 3 more units.
Right. Right.
So I have 1 unit
Right.
paying the mortgage. What now?
That's right. That's right.
Imagine where I'm headed, Shannon. Imagine the information that I have. I'm headed to the buy and hold. Yes, I'm gonna do the 40 units. But then the short-term situation, man, and Jay Massey, that brother, I have to give it to him, man.
Yeah.
He
See,
murders.
how would you have met Jay Massey?
It wasn't for Clubhouse, I never would have.
No.
Shannon, I would have met you. And I trust me, I was sitting back and I said, don't want to be a
People that
developer.
wish that they never met me though, too. So Kirk, you got to give them that.
I said, do I want to be a developer? And I think about you, Shannon. I said, I'm already in the plumbing space. I could do stuff from the ground up.
Absolutely good.
But then I'm like, Shannon is doing that space. But what I loved about you, and you're a gentleman, man, and I truly, truly appreciate love. And I don't say appreciate hate, I appreciate love you giving me the chance for this conversation, because you also are doing your thing on a different level. And I love what you do because you're very humble and you're very authentic, man. And I love it when you're on the app. You're very witty, and you also call people out on the BS, Shannon. And I totally love that about you. I totally know who they are.
This is the thing, man. And I'm a little bit, thank you. I don't normally get compliments like that. So I appreciate that. I'm going to take it in. I'm not going to.
You have to say, I appreciate love it. I don't appreciate
love it. I appreciate love it. Because, that's what creates a better humanity, right? That's what creates a better existence here, where we're able to help each other. And, you're so right, Kurt. I mean, you can do what I do. What I do is not hard, right? What I do is I show up. What I do is I'm consistent. What I do is I've applied the things that I've learned, just like you. And this is the thing that I want all of my listeners to take away again, is the fact that we all can learn to be whatever we want to be. We can all do this. It's not something that only the rich get to do, or only the super intellectuals get to do. I mean, my high school, I have a PhD. That's a public high school diploma, right? But I also was the only one that they asked not to come back. I truly do believe this. I got my 30-year high school reunion this year, and I truly do believe that they passed me so that I wouldn't come back, because my teachers didn't think I was witty, right? They didn't call it witty, Kirk, right? They called it smart ass, right? But that's the reality, is that, I don't come from, I never went to college. I mean, I went to college for a semester, but then I decided that was, they wanted you to show up. They wanted you.
I tried it 5 times. Don't worry about it. I tried it 5 times. I said, it's not for me. So I
you had to pass a test. You had to do all this stuff. I never liked that, man.
Right.
So when you look at where you're at and you look at what you're doing, what are you telling the person that is sitting on the sidelines wondering what to do?
So the thing is, right, you have the Grant Cardones of the world where, and sometimes we see this happen to where Grant comes in the room, he'll out the room and focuses on Grant Cardone. He'll tell you, just go big, just go buy a 10,000 unit. It's the same as doing a 1 unit. But sometimes we don't have the mentality for that 10,000 unit. Start where you're at. The information you're getting, it's definitely a way you can definitely figure it out, because you think, Shannon, instead of me buying 12 Jordans this year, right? And I spent each Jordan's $150. I don't spend over $1,000 on Jordan. Why not for me to put that money down for 5 years? I have $5,000. There's some type of way I could look into getting to something that's going to bring me back the money, instead of the money going out, it never comes back in.
That's right.
You start where you're at. And that's where it all begins. Start where you're at and work yourself out. And do not, they say comparison is a stealer of joy.
Yeah.
And Shannon, again, trust me, it's the imposter syndrome. You feel like you're in an audience and you're hearing these people doing this, and this. But you have to remember that everyone is a regular person as well. They put their foot in their jeans 1 leg at a time.
Yeah.
One leg at a time.
I tried to do it with both at one time, but I just about busted out my teeth, man. Cause I got, come on. I couldn't quite jump high enough. I got one leg caught up, see now this is a great thing. Kurt, you got that visual picture of me going head over heels, trying to get my, trying to be Mr. Fancy Pants. Right. But, and Kurt, there's so much truth in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most people fail to start because they're afraid of failing. Right.
Yeah.
They're afraid that why not? If I have the Jordans, I'm going to look like I'm successful.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to look like I got it together. I'm going to work till I die, but I'm going to look good doing it. And yet you've taken that and you put that into action. You're taking those steps. You're rocking it. And I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here on the 3rd anniversary of this interview, calling you up and saying, hey,
where am I now?
Where are you at now? Because I guarantee you we're going to have a conversation about 40 units.
For the 3rd anniversary, I might have 3 planes.
But I'm going to call you out because I bet you, this is my bet. It's 18 months from now you got those 40 units. Because like you said, your mindset is expanding to where you're beyond where you thought you would be at the end of your career. And this has happened in the course of 7 months, right? After 3 years of hard work and preparation, in 7 months, you're where you're at. This is going to go fast now. Because now taking 2 and doing 4 is easy because you're going to be able to do it because it's a repeat. It's the second time, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're going to do 2 2s to 4s, right? You're going to do them both at the same time, right? And that's the thing. And Kirk, this is the awesome part about your story is you're writing it, right?
Yes.
Nobody else is writing it.
Right.
You are. And you've recognized that and you've said, man, I can do this. I can write my own story. Right. So for all the people in the audience that didn't catch it, Kurt is here to tell you that he is a regular person, very unusual regular person that is putting into action the things that he's learned, and he has changed his life. Right.
And
you are amazing.
And Shannon, that's what it's about, man. And
that's right.
It sounds so simple, but that's exactly what it is. You have to put into action what you're learning. It sounds as simple as cliche as it sounds, Shannon. It is just that simple. And get around the right people. Get around the right people. Don't get around those. And I said earlier in the interview, Shannon, like I've went to jail. I didn't. I never said this either. I've gotten shot as well on the streets. There's a bullet still inside of me, right above my butt crack, like literally, Shannon, like an inch up. I could have been paralyzed.
Amazing.
I went there, I did the whole thing, Shannon, but at the end of the day, you can change the trajectory of your life. You can do the things that you need to and stop blaming, society of trying to like hold you back and saying the internet has broke all the color barriers. And, Gary Vaynerchuk said that, and I didn't understand what he was saying at the time. But Shannon, let's say you order something from Amazon. You don't know if that person's Indian, black, white, purple, green, gray. You don't know. You just know that you ordered something and it got delivered to your house.
Right.
The internet broke that race barrier.
Right.
Yes, sometimes visually, depending on what you're doing, you see who the person is. And if you don't choose to interact with that person, then you just don't.
Right.
But the internet has broken that. And I honestly believe that. And when he said it the first time, I just never understood. But I have an Amazon business as well, too, I just never mentioned that on the app either.
So see, guys, this is the thing. The more you know about Kirk, the more you start to unwind and start to understand the story that the struggle is real, the hard work is real. Kurt is going to be one of the guys that is going to be titled an overnight success that took 22 years to make, right?
Yes.
Been there, done that, from the street life to the good life, based on hard work and application of what he knows and what he's learned, and hanging around with smarter people than himself in the areas that he wants to be successful in. And the reason I say smarter than himself is because they've been there and they've done that and they know the roadmap, right? And that's the only difference, right? Because I can guarantee you this: if you put me and Kurt in a plumbing contest, I'm going to get waxed, man. I am going to lose that battle, right?
That's a fact.
So he very quickly assured me that I am correct. But and that's the awesome power of the internet, for sure. The power of the apps that we're able to interact with, And so look at that. If you're on the flip side of that, you could have spent your time in Farmville. You could have spent your time playing chess or cruising the news, but you spent your time enriching your life, learning more about things, learning the things that you needed to do to make your life better. So, Kirk, my hat is off to you, man. I am so excited to watch your journey. I'm excited to meet you for the first time in person. Are you gonna be in Atlanta, my man?
Oh, definitely.
Clubhouse Live 2.0.
Man, you look handsome over the computer, but you might be more handsome in person.
You know what? This is as good as it gets right here. This is it. I got all my filters turned on, but guys, a lot of you don't get the jokes, but I would encourage you to check out Clubhouse. I would encourage you to continue to expand your mind. Like Kurt says, there's always more you can learn. There's always more you can do. But Kurt, if people want to reach out to you, where can they reach you in a wide world of the internet?
Well, I'm on Instagram.
All right.
KBarnes3211. I'm on Instagram. I'm also in Clubhouse. Kirk Barnes Clubhouse. Join the Clubhouse app, guys. If you guys don't have Clubhouse, you guys are missing out on a lap. It bridges so many gaps. You get to tap into somebody like Shannon Robnett. Like Shannon is doing the damn do, man. You're really missing out. You have to get on that Clubhouse app. And what I love with Clubhouse, not like a regular podcast. On podcasts, Shannon and I interacting. On Clubhouse, you can actually go up there and ask Shannon a question.
Right.
You can ask me a question directly. And what I love with also, with Shannon and with everyone else that's on these apps as well too, the Clubhouse app, you're able to speak to them. You're able to get their point of view. You're able to tap into them, and they will answer you. And Shannon, that's what changed my life. Listen, once I joined Clubhouse in the end of January to now.
Yeah.
Listen, man, it's a game changer.
It's for real, for sure. So, guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Real Estate Rundown. Kirk Barnes was my guest. If you like this, guys, follow us on podcast or YouTube. Like us on the link below. Click to be added to our mailing list. All those kinds of things that you know about us, guys. But we just want to thank Kurt once again for showing up, giving us some knowledge, and being a part of the show. I appreciate you so much, my friend. I look forward to continuing the conversations on a daily with you.
Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate love you, man.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Real Estate Rundown. Let these newfound strategies pave the way to start a successful career or a profound rebranding. If you loved everything you have heard, listen to more conversations at www.shannonrobnett.com. And be sure to leave a rating, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Until the next episode.